Rev up your engines. Okay, today we got a Chevy Traverse. Is it good? Is it bad? The guy bought it used. Now you might start out with, why did he buy it? Well, because before this he had a Chrysler minivan and it had all kinds of problems. He had to do a head over, and on top of it he goes to visit people in West Virginia and it was too low, it would bottom out. He had to put catalytic converters on it. He just got this and we're going to check it out and see if he got a good deal or not. Now it looks good from the outside, I gotta say, you know, they're good looking. And it's a Traverse all-wheel drive. He lives in Kansas, so he can go through the snow there. And it's got the nice alloy wheels. Now, he paid $17,900 for this used. Guess what a new one costs? It's over $50,000 for a brand new one. So, hey, buying one at that price range isn't a bad move. As far as I'm concerned, they're not the greatest vehicles, but they're not horrible vehicles. And it's 10 times better than the Chrysler minivan that he had. So right away, I'm thinking he made a smart move. We're going to check it all out, of course. We'll take a look inside. It's made in the United States. And as you can see, it's held up quite well. Realize these are seat covers, but I like them. They look good. Start her up. Of course, everything works, AC and everything on it. Of course, it's a relatively large vehicle. I believe it's a 3.6 V6. He gets like 18 and a half, 19 miles a gallon on a highway. That's the top gas mileage. It's a big vehicle. They're going to use gasoline. And that's going the speed limit. That's just the way a big vehicle is. He's also a pilot. He owns a couple of planes. And his small plane gets about the same gas mileage. And that's flying in a straight line. It's got 87,805 miles. He bought it about 3,000 miles ago. He hasn't had any particular problems yet. And as you can see, we'll put it in drive. The AC's on, and idle smooth as can be. So here comes the big, giant scan tool. It'll tell us everything we want to know. Maybe some things he doesn't want to know. We'll find out soon. All right, read the VIN number. Do a full topology scan, so here we go. And while it's going, we'll look around. Plastic's still in good shape. It's not cracked or anything. I like these seat covers. Matter of fact, I did the same thing with my wife's Matrix. Even though the seats weren't worn out, these things are so much more comfortable that your back doesn't hurt you when you're driving down the road. It's better than the original ones. He put them all over. He's got Freon Star, but he doesn't know how to turn it on or off, so we don't really care about that. Now it's got 4 codes, but one is an HVAC code. Let's see what the trouble codes are. It's talking to us now. Now here's some codes, and they're just wild. Recirculate, position, feedback 1, circuit performance, signal invalid. And the rear temperature control, feedback, circuit performance, signal invalid. Who knows, it blows cold, it blows hot. Too much technology here. Erase that for fun. Yes, I want to delete it. Okay, now we'll check the other one. Remote control door lock receiver. Boy, they're really getting high tech here now. Tire pressure sensor. Rear tire pressure sensor. Again, these are wild communication codes. Start it up, and yes, thank goodness it has an actual key. Not one of those stupid push button jobs. So we will now go to the ECM and go to live data. These are GM, so as you can see, they don't do it all at once. You have various different things you can look at. It will take you 1,000 years to go through them all, but let's just do the engine. And here we go. Remember, black's good, red is bad. The air fuel equivalency is 1. 1 is perfect. So we know it's running pretty good. It's not even off 1/100th. Now, the long-term fuel trim on both banks, -3, -4, it's just off a little. What you might do is put some fuel injector cleaner in it. As they get old, spindles get a little bit worn. I would put in Bernie's fuel injector cleaner. And we'll go through, everything's still black, everything looks pretty good. Oil pressure's good. And just because sometimes they get a little wacky in the transmission, we'll look at transmission data. No, that stuff's weird either. So I gotta say, you made a pretty good choice going from a Chrysler minivan to this Traverse. Seems in good shape. I'll take it for a little spin. We'll see how it runs. Now their daughter just bought, after he bought this, a 2013 Dodge Caravan. He's had to take the engine apart to fix leaks and stuff already, and he's got to do a lot of stuff. So he made a wise choice getting this instead of that. Now here we go. You can see the backup camera's decent. Got a decent ride to it. Transmission is shifting very smoothly. 3.6 liter V6, so it's got a decent, powerful engine. I mean, you're going to get around 19, 18 miles a gallon on the highway driving the speed. That's just the way it goes with a big vehicle. And it's got an old person turn signal. That baby is loud. Take it to our little drag strip here. As you take a ride in the country, I gotta say, it's not a bad ride at all. It's equivalent to pretty much any of these larger SUVs that I try out, you know, of course, it doesn't have the luxuries of the Lexus, but then again, it doesn't have the price of it either. Now, it's out of the way and give it a little gas and really smooth shifting. Hey, this car's running perfectly fine. Hey, why not buy a used one? You want to pay 55 grand for a new one? Not really. Pay a lot less for a used one. You can find one. Got a nice, smooth, quiet ride. Don't hear any wheel bearing noise or anything. So, everybody knows I'm not a Chevy fan, but hey, for what he paid for this thing, the shape that it's in marvelous shape. You get something for that, 18, 19 grand for something that's 50-something grand that's in the shape this thing is in. It's all-wheel drive. Everything on it works fine, except for those stupid codes for loss of communication for HVAC and control module. Who cares? You're going to get that with any car as it ages. It's actually in excellent shape. Why waste your money on a brand new one? Now, this guy is an aircraft mechanic, so he knows a lot about machines, and he made a wise choice. Although I have to say, he told me his wife actually picked it out. They made a good choice. Certainly 10 times better than the Chrysler minivan that they had before they bought this. It's definitely a step up, and for the money, now of course, I would buy a Toyota probably, right? But if you were going to find a Toyota in this kind of shape, with this kind of mileage, you wouldn't have paid what he paid. The guy brought me one just like this, only it was a Toyota, and he spent $39,000 for one used, with 20,000 more miles than this thing. So money talks, and in this case, it didn't talk into a bad bargain. And here's some bonus questions and answers. Well, it could be the beginning of the end. Tesla Model 3 prices are dropping like a lead balloon. Used EV prices are now dropping 6 times faster than used gasoline cars. They are dropping like a stone. Nissan Leaf, Hyundai Kona Electric, and the Kia Niro EV have dropped 6 times faster in their used prices over the last 12 months. Now, here's the hilarious thing. Used EVs, they've lost 24.7% of their value. Used hybrids have only lost 4.4% of their value in the same time period, and used gasoline cars have only lost 4%. It just shows people don't want these electric cars. They definitely don't want used ones, right? For a while, Tesla was bragging, our used ones go for more than the new ones. Yeah, because they couldn't make the new ones in coronavirus and all that stuff, so the used one, the prices were artificially inflated. Well, that time of artificial inflation is over, and the lead balloon electric cars are dropping down the toilet. Could you imagine you have a car and it lost 24.6% of its value in 1 year? And the other cars, gasoline cars, only lost 4% of their value. That's telling you, people are voting with their money. And their money says, we don't want these electric cars. We especially don't want used ones. The ceiling's starting to crumble on all this electric car battery nonsense. Well, another giant EV car battery maker is starting to crumble. A company called Northvolt. It's a Swedish EV battery manufacturer, and it's pretty big. They're now scaling back their production and scaling back their expansion. Well, we're not going to build those new factories, I guess. Now, it's a Swedish company, and they revealed that they're suspending their cathode active material production. You got to have cathodes and anodes, right, and batteries, at its Swedish site, and is canceling plans for another plant in Sweden. And they also hinted they're going to start firing people, too. Because if nobody's buying these cars, nobody's going to buy the batteries that go into the cars either. Now, Northvolt, hey, they got agreements with Volvo, Volkswagen. They're going to build a gigafactory. The company itself says, and I always find this hilarious how they couch their terms, we have to take some tough actions to improve our financial stability and strengthen our operational performance, said their CEO. In other words, they'll go out of business if they keep making stuff that nobody's buying. That's what it comes down to. Their ramping up production is already ramping down. Proof that the electric car battery business is just starting to collapse upon itself. But of course, they won't admit it. That's the hilarious part. The guy says, it's the CEO of the company, we got to ramp this down. But, he says, there remains no question that the global transition towards electrification and the long-term outlook for battery manufacturers is strong. What else is this guy going to say? He's running a company that makes the batteries. So he's going to say, I guess the jig is up. I'm out of here. No, he's still trying to get his salary as long as the factory keeps going. Yeah. They're never going to tell you the truth. Never ask a company that's failing how they're doing. They'll always tell you. If you remember the old Enron fiasco in Houston, Texas, when that stock was down to 50 cents a share, their CEO was trying to rally all their workers, buy some more stock. It's just at a lull. It's going to go back up and be rich again. Of course, then it disappeared entirely and was worthless, but they're not going to tell you the truth. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.